All right, wonderful. Okay, so yesterday we talked about what did we talk about yesterday? Yes, we talked about your number, your limited number of salahs that you have, and how we don't want to miss any of them, and how even delaying them reduces our chance of having reward, right? So today we'll be talking about praying, but at school. Okay, how many of you pray at school? Raise your hands. I want to see. How many of you pray at school? Fatima, well, obviously, you live in Qatar, so it makes sense. And all the people who live in Muslim countries, you guys pray at school or like get the chance to pray. But some of us, we don't live in Muslim countries, right? We live in like Canada or America, and it's harder here to pray, right? At school. Unless you ask for permission or ask like, hey, I need like a room to go pray in. But we'll talk about that, okay? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So most likely the prayer that you have is like during school hours is Dhuhr, right? Most likely it's a few hours before you come back home. Ideally, you should do your best to pray at school, but if you absolutely cannot, like if there's some like horrible, terrible situation where it's absolutely impossible for you to pray at school, then you can pray as soon as you come back home, right? But let's say if you go to like a non-Islamic school, if you say like there's no Muslims at your school, or you don't have time to pray at school, right? Lots of people say this all the time, right? And now I'm going to tell you two true stories from two different people, and these are true stories, okay? So don't think it's just like a made-up story. It's a real 100% true story, all right? And the first story is of a boy in a public school in America. All right. So he had just joined a new school and he was the only Muslim in his school as well, right? He wanted to pray Dhuhr on time. So he went and he talked to his teacher and his principal and he told them that he's a Muslim, right? And that it's like an obligation for us to pray 5 times a day. And he asked the school to give him like any place for 10 minutes to pray during the day. Okay, just 10 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. The principal was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. Actually, you can just pray in my office. I'm mostly not even in my office during the day, so feel free to come in and pray here. Okay. So now the thing is, the principal's office had glass doors. Okay. That meant that everyone walking outside the doors, outside the principal's office, could see him. They would probably be wondering, like, what is this boy doing? Like, his head is on the ground in the principal's office. Like, what is he doing? Right? So you can imagine how awkward it would be for him and what his friends would think if they saw him and what other people would think if they saw him, right? And this this boy, on the first day that he went to go pray in the principal's office, his legs were literally shaking with fear, right? He was terrified. He was worried about all these people watching him from outside. But despite his fear, he continued because regardless of what people think of him, he was more concerned about pleasing Allah, right? He might have been scared of people, but what was his priority? To make sure that he did pray and that he did please Allah and he did make sure that he prayed Dhuhr on time, right? But then he said, like a few weeks later or whatever, he said, now I go there every day. It's so easy. I go pray and I come back and I don't even think about anyone watching me. And I'm not scared at all, right? So yeah, at first it will be difficult. It might be scary, but you do it for the sake of Allah and inshallah everything will become easier, right? But if you decide not to pray, then think about it. Why have you decided not to pray at school? Because you're afraid of other people? Are they more important to you than Allah? Are you more concerned about what they would think than you about your own relationship with Allah? Are you not putting these people before? I mean, are you putting these people in front of Allah? Like, are you putting them before Allah? Same goes for work. right? Same goes for other classes, for games, whatever. Even this class, right? Are these things more important to you than Allah? Maybe Dhuhr time obviously happens during our class, right? So as soon as Dhuhr happens, you should get up and just go pray. Okay, there's absolutely no need to ask. We're all Muslims here. We all understand that praying is important, and you can just go ahead and pray, right? If if you do think that anything else is more important than your relationship with Allah and your salah, then that's actually a minor shirk. Do you know what shirk means? Ishan, you have a question? Ishan? Ishan 8.
In my school, I usually do not know when is namaz, so I don't actually do namaz because before summer break I didn't really know namaz and stuff, so that's why I never used to do it. But now I do it, and I usually do not know when it's like starting, or I don't have a namaz or hijab.
All right, here's the thing. Before you go to school, you probably like you can use your mom's phone or you can just quickly search it up on your computer at home or your tablet, whatever. What time is Dhuhr today? And then put in like your local area, wherever you live. You live in Woodstock, put in what time is Dhuhr in Woodstock today? Or what time is Dhuhr in Sydney today? What time is Dhuhr in Qatar today? Whatever, right? And it'll tell you, Google will tell you. Or you can like download like Muslim Pro or something. And it'll have all the listings for all the prayers all throughout the day. Okay? So you can do that and it'll let you know what time it is. That way you can just keep in your mind what time Dhuhr is, and when it is time, just let your teacher know that, hey, I gotta go pray, I'll be right back. And when you go to pray, you can have your hijab and your prayer mat inside your bag. Okay? So, or if you have like a designated spot, if you, for example, like there's a separate room in the library, like an empty room in the library that the teacher's like, okay, you can go pray in there, then you can keep your prayer mat in there. You can keep your hijab in there, just like a little corner. Keep it there, and then every single time you go there, it'll be there for you, and you won't have to carry it around in your bag, or you won't like end up forgetting it at home or something. Right? Make sense? Yeah? No, maybe? Yes? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Anyways,
I can't remember. It's very like hard for me to remember because sometimes when I'm supposed to be remembering things to do it, I usually forget it.
you can just write it down. Write it down on your like, I don't know, you can put a sticky note in your room or somewhere.
I don't.
Or just ask your mom to remind you. Yeah? No. Does that help a little bit? Okay.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't? Mama, do you have any suggestions? Does anyone else have any suggestions?
Wait, what?
Does anyone have any suggestions on how we could help Ishal here to remember to like keep her hijab or her prayer mat with her, or when to pray? You could put alarms on your tablet. You have that clock app on your tablet, right?
I don't have
It's
a tablet.
do you have do you have any device?
I have a computer, but
You
I
have a
don't go to
computer?
school.
You can download like some sort of Muslim Pro app do you have your mom's phone? Does your mom let you use her phone?
Nope, she doesn't.
She doesn't. Okay. That's
She does. She has lots of work, so she usually needs it. My
yeah,
dad's
okay.
usually at work too.
So on your computer, you can search, you can like set alarms. There should be some sort of okay.
I'm on my dad's computer, which is an Apple Mac Pro, I think.
An Apple Mac Pro. So Apples are pretty like sophisticated type of computer. Okay, we'll talk about this later. Okay, so let's just continue, finish with this, and then I'll talk to you about this afterwards. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Um. So we're talking about this boy in the public school in America. He had glass door windows, a glass wall in the principal's office, and he was worried about everybody watching him, but it was completely fine with him. He was worried the first few days. His legs were shaking with fear about what people would think, but later on he was confident, and he knew that praying was more important than all these people's opinions, right? Now we have another girl in Australia who prayed in the bathroom. That already sounds wrong, right? Like she was so terrified of other people seeing her praying that she used to pray in the bathroom. Literally the bathroom, right? Obviously, you're thinking that she should not be praying in the bathroom, and you're right, we shouldn't be. But before you judge her for praying in the bathroom, look at the love that she had for Allah. She was afraid of people seeing her, but she also loves Allah so much that she doesn't want to miss or even delay her meeting with Allah. She could have just decided not to pray at school, right? But no. Instead, she decided to pray on time, even if it meant praying in secret in the toilet or like in the bathroom. And you can probably imagine that, like, she's praying in the bathroom, and obviously we're not allowed to pray in the bathroom, right? So she probably didn't have enough knowledge. She probably didn't have enough, um, what's it called? Yeah, knowledge to know that praying in the bathroom is haram, right? So her love for Salah made her pray on time, and her love for Allah made her do it, right? And like, look now, all these people in the world, right? Allah has made her and a bunch of other people in the world an example for you and hundreds of others like you who understand that Salah is important and should be prayed on time, right? And there's obviously hundreds and thousands of children all over the world going to schools where they might be either the only Muslim in the school or one of very few, right? But they're still praying at school, right? They're praying in storerooms, in drama rooms, in libraries, in empty classrooms, at the playground, in meeting rooms, right? They're praying anywhere they can. And they could pray in recess during lunchtime, and sometimes they even ask for permission to be 10 minutes late to class so that they can pray, right? So now you know that it's not an impossible task to go and pray at school. You can literally just go up to your teacher and be like, "Hey, I'll be 10 minutes late to this class. I need to go pray. I'll be right back." Right? This is kind of what I do. I usually had what class did I have? I forgot what class I had, but I after lunch I had a class, and then before my fourth period I'd be like 10 minutes late, and I'd be like, "Hey, I'll be 10 minutes late because I need to pray." And my teacher was completely okay with it. They weren't racist to me. They weren't like, "Oh my God, you pray." None of that. Okay, they were completely fine with it. They were like, "Sure, it's just 10 minutes. Do your thing and then come back. Make sure you don't take over 10 minutes, right?" So it's not that miserable, I promise. Just make sure that you have your hijab and your prayer mat with you, or put it in that little corner that you have to pray. Keep it in your bag. Do something so that you make sure that you still have it with you. Okay? All right, so question. Why shouldn't we be worried about other people? Because obviously it's a valid fear, right? I get it. I'm pretty sure a bunch of other people also get it. Why shouldn't we be worried about other people though? Why shouldn't we be worried about what other people are gonna say? Thoughts? Faha?
Because only Allah's opinion matters?
Yes, that's an excellent answer actually, because only Allah's opinion matters, right? Ishal, do you have something to say to that?
Uh, Ishal 8?
Yeah, Ishal 8.
Uh, you like, no, I don't.
No? Okay. All right. So yeah, basically, only Allah's opinion matters, right? And at the end of the day, we're all gonna die and we're all gonna go to Jannah, inshallah. And our ultimate goal, like our if we're gonna go to Jannah or not, is determined by how many good things we do, right? And obviously we want to make sure that we're not missing out on like the most biggest good thing out there, which is praying, right? So yeah. And Allah is obviously our Lord, He's our Rabb, and this is the most important relationship of your entire life. Okay, and we need to prioritize Him and we need to put Him before everything else. Okay, and also another thing is that if you show your love for Allah, Allah will shower you with His own love, right? He will fill the hearts of the people with love for you. All the people you may be worried about that will make fun of you or not like you or like be mean to you, Allah can fill their hearts with love and respect for you. They'll be like, oh my God, that person is really dedicated to their religion, that they're praying at school. They'll know that you are very, you're not a person to just fool around with. You're not a person to like make jokes about whatever, that you're a serious person who actually cares, right? Okay. I think this is the last thing that we're going to talk about, prayer buddies. When you pray in Jama'ah, right, like when you pray with other people, how many times is your reward multiplied by? Hint, hint, it's on the screen. 27. You got that right. So when you pray in Jama'ah, right, your reward multiplies 27 times, or even more, actually. So does anyone know how many people you need to pray in Jama'ah? How many people do you need? Baha?
Who?
What's the reward?
Two. That's it. You just need two. Two
You just
people.
need one other person? Like
You
two,
just
like
need
as
one
in
other
me
person.
and you? Or
No,
two as
just
in like
one other
3 people in
person.
total?
Just one other person.
Yeah, but
Just
one of
one
them
other
has to
person.
be an imam, right?
Yeah, one of them has to be an imam, obviously. But you just need two other people. I mean, one other. Sorry, I'm okay. You just need one other person, and your reward is now 27 times more, right? Your dad, you could pray with your dad. You could pray with your mom. You could pray with your sister. You could pray with your brother, your grandparents. Anyone could be your prayer buddy. Obviously, someone who is able to pray, someone who is Muslim, right? And plus, when you do have a prayer buddy, then inshallah, you can help each other maintain your prayer. And you can both keep encouraging each other and make sure that the other is also praying and the other is being sincere with their prayer and the other did proper wudu, whatever, right? And if one is slow or if one is kind of lazy, the other person can make sure that they get up quickly and they can get like the maximum reward, right? And both of you can support each other by making sure that your prayer is good and proper, right? And who do you think you could make your prayer buddy? Who is closest to you right now who you could make your prayer buddy? Anyone. Or you could just like gather your entire family. Baha?
Wait, what was the
When
question?
school starts, you could have like your friend as a prayer buddy?
Your friend might come over every time Salah happens or whatever. Or during Maghrib, your friend would come over and like, hey, let's pray Maghrib together. And then during Isha, before you sleep, you could go pray with your dad. For Asr, before you have dinner or something, you could pray with your entire family. Or for Dhuhr, for example, you might have another Muslim person at school and you could pray with
I
them
pray
at
with my
school.
sister.
You pray with your sister? MashaAllah, that's excellent.
She
That's
doesn't
wonderful.
really
You're
know how to
getting,
pray.
she doesn't, that's fine. You're still getting the reward for it though, right? Okay. So yeah, basically just support each other and don't be the type of person who's like, ew, you're not praying, or like, ew, you didn't pray enough, or ew, you prayed so fast. Don't be that type of person. No one likes that type of person. And Allah doesn't either, because that's not very supportive and you're basically being mean. Okay? So don't be mean. It's basic manners, all right? And 3 take-home messages. Make sure you pray at school. It's pretty easy. You can just go up to your teacher. It's pretty nerve-wracking at first, gonna be honest. It's kind of scary, but you can just go to your teacher, be like, hey, I need to pray. Can I just go quickly, just go and pray? It's gonna take 10 minutes, and your teacher will be fine with it, most likely. But if your teacher is not, then just go to your principal. Hopefully your principal is fine with it. But yeah, it's usually not that difficult. Second, praying with someone else gives you 27 times more reward. Okay, so make sure that you're getting don't make sure, like, if you have the opportunity, try to pray with someone else so that you can get even more reward, right? And lastly, ask someone to help you track your salah so you can be the best Muslim, right? Ask someone to help you keep track of how well you're doing your salah, or how, like, what's the word? How often you're praying, to make sure that you don't miss any prayers, right? Okay. And that is basically it. Jazakallah. Jazakallah khair.
Can you go to the previous slides, Khadija?
This one?
The take-home message slide.
Yeah. And obviously now that school is starting and everything, you guys want to probably like marinate this thought in your brain for a bit, that you need to go and ask someone
Thank you.
if you can pray somewhere at school, so that you don't miss your prayer or that you don't delay it too much. It's the take-home message slide now.
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, okay, okay, I thought you were gonna say something. Okay, anyways, any questions? I know Ishal, you had something to. Ishal 8.
Yes.
Did you still have any questions?
I I don't really like. I have my computer is like it's like a window one. What is it called? It's actually not a MacBook Pro. My dad's computer, which I am on right now, is a MacBook Pro. And my sister uses my computer.
Right, okay. So here's the thing. On any like computer or whatever, you can try to search up in like the very bottom bar thingy. You can search up a clock, literally a clock, and there will be an option to set alarms, right? Or
I know, like my parents tell me when to do like namaz, and they have an app on their phones, and they usually just tell me to go, and I go.
yeah,
But at school, like I don't know. At school, we do
school,
have computers, but we have to like sign in to them.
yeah, so you can sign in, and when it's time to, like, maybe after recess or something, or whenever you do have the opportunity to open up a Chromebook, you can sign in, you can search up on Google when the time for Zohar is, right? And whenever the time is, you can tell your teacher that, hey, it's Zohar time at this time, like at 12 or like at 1:15, whatever. And your teacher will most likely be like, okay, there's going to be a separate room for you that you can go and pray in. And
Yeah,
when you need to go and pray in a separate room, you can make sure that you have your hijab and your prayer mat in your backpack.
yeah, but I usually like do a video. Like
You can ask the teacher if you can take the Chromebook with you, because you need help from a video.
She doesn't let people do that.
I think at that point you can just go by whatever you have memorized. So right now, since there's still time, right? There's still times until school starts. You can take like the next 2 weeks to start practicing, start memorizing how to pray.
I do memorize some, but I do need like help at the start because I forget, because there are a bunch of surahs and stuff that have same words that's in other things. So
Like Surah Fatiha and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then you're going to have to, yeah, just try to memorize as best as you can. And obviously, since you're still a child, right? It's not like mandatory on you yet, but you still making that effort to go and pray is a really good thing. It's a really, really good thing. And whatever you have memorized, you can just go off of that. Does that help?
I don't know, but okay.
You can try. You can try. There's still time before school. You can talk to your mom about it and you'll work it out, I'm sure.
Okay.
All right. Wonderful. Okay, Jazakallah. Sorry, Isra, I'm taking your time, but yeah. Anyways, over to you.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Walaikum assalam.
So, today we will be learning about a divine wisdom that happened in the Battle of Trench. So we all know that even if there's a big army of some sort, the Muslims are like always winning. You know why? Because they're always on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's side, right? Like in the Battle of Badr, the Muslims had won because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was on their side. Or any other battles, the Muslims have had the upper hand because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was on their side. But do you think the Muslims didn't put any effort in their work? So like, do you think they just left everything and left it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or did they put in some work? In every battle and everything, do you think they put in work from themselves, or did they just leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, oh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do it. We're leaving everything to him. What do you guys think? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you think the Muslims put in the work in anything? No? Alright, so no, because even though the Muslims had help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't help them if they did not have any work put done in themselves. Because like in order to earn Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, you have to put some work on yourself. So like you have to do some work by yourself too in order to get help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't just be like, oh, I can't do this. I'm gonna leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not gonna do this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is gonna help me, right? He will help you, inshallah, but like you have to put in some work by yourself too. So, there was an example, blessing. There's a person named Salman al-Farsi. He was a huge blessing. Like the thing he did, the idea that he had contributed in the Battle of Trench. Like he had given an idea in the Battle of Trench that had been a huge blessing and helped the Muslims so much. Before I explain, who do you guys think was Salman al-Farsi? Like, was he an important person? Like, did he just like show up or something? Nobody? Alright, so Salman al-Farsi, he was, and before in the Battle of Uhud, he was a prisoner that he was by the Qurayza, and in the Battle of Uhud, he was taken by the Qurayza and he was prisoned. So, and he was a slave. So, the Qurayza had demanded that if Salman al-Farsi wanted to be free, they had a demand, right? And Salman al-Farsi did complete the demand, so the Qurayza had let them go. And just like I said, he had an amazing idea. His idea took place in the Battle of Trench, and it helped the Muslims so much. But what do you think Salman al-Farsi's idea was? What do you think was so important that helped the Muslims so much? What do you think Salman al-Farsi's idea was that helped the Muslims in the Battle of Trench? Alright, no, it's okay. So, well, he had the idea of digging a trench. So a trench is basically like a ditch or like a huge long hole in the ground that helps in like military or anything like that, if anything like that. And Salman Farsi had came up with that and it helped them. And that's also where the battle name came from, right? Battle of Trench. That came from a trench. There was also another blessing, and that was the failure of the Quraysh, because we know the Quraysh had a big army to fight with the Muslims, right? They had brought in tribes from other places, or like other tribes had came in to help the Quraysh, not to fight. Like the tribes came, they didn't want to fight. They only came for the food, because in wars, what happens is that there is food distributed to everyone, right? Like everyone in that side, right? So the Quraysh had a bunch of tribes coming over, not to help them. They had no mood to. They were in no mood to fight. They just wanted food, right? And the money they get from the war and stuff. Because in the wars you also get money and stuff from other people that like from prisoners and stuff like that. So the tribes that came to Quraysh, they wanted the money that was being spread out too, right? So they were not in the mood to fight. And because of this, there were so many tribes that joined the Quraysh just for food, just for like the money and everything. So they didn't have enough food because there were so many people that wanted to join and like collect money. They wouldn't even want to fight, right? So the Quraysh did not have enough food, and they had like ran out of food. There wasn't enough food for everyone. And so basically they had ran out of their food, so they had no energy to fight, and like half of the Quraysh like side wasn't even willing to fight because they only wanted food and money, right? So, and also there was another blessing that there was a huge storm that destroyed the Quraysh army. This shows that even a tiny bit of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, like a very tiny bit, can help the Muslims so much, and it had destroyed the Quraysh. That was it.
Subhanallah, that was so beautiful, Isra.